when I see people walking in the street, I see this kind of dull glaze in most people when they walk around. There'd be the odd one with a light in their eyes that's walking around. But I look around and I think, wow, there is so much more we could all do. I go into a shopping centre now, and every single Westfield or big shopping centre I go in, I look at it from the escalators and I think, my God, this is all landfill. This is all going to be landfill in this one Westfield. Imagine like in probably 12 months' time. And this is just increasing. The turnover and the consumerism is ridiculous. It's becoming so ridiculous. We don't need all of that stuff. And we're disconnected more than ever. And this brings me back to crazy ideas and how important it is to start to switch off from some of the social media. And if you are finding it difficult to find something that you are really passionate about, that you really know that, okay, you've had this great life and you've been doing amazing stuff, but something's missing. And I recommend something that you can do, which I did, was to ask this question, what will it take? And it's a really good question. And I did this for about 2 weeks when I'd just come from being made redundant and I'd had a bit of a meltdown in one of the early video production businesses I had. And I completely burnt myself out. I was overworked, I undervalued myself. I just tried really hard to give everyone everything, but I didn't value myself. And I was like this, I was just trying so hard, but no one respected me because I didn't respect myself. And of course, that type of working ethic doesn't last very long before something happens and you burn out. But in that time is the time that's when you grow. When I was shaking on the floor from having a breakdown, that is the moment that everything changed because I stopped. I stopped trying to be everything for everyone. I stopped and I listened and I slept and I gave myself time. And I started to think about what would it take? What would it take for an idea to pop into my mind that is going to utilize my skills and make a difference in the world? And I kept saying that same question every single day, probably for about 2 weeks. Because when you ask yourself questions, the answer pops in. And I think if you don't get the answer, it means that you're not asking a question to yourself. You are blocking that answer by saying, oh, why hasn't this shown up yet? Or how come I can't do that? Like, that's a very blocked question to ask yourself. But if you can sit in the space of what will it take for an idea to pop into my mind that utilizes my skills and makes a difference, or helps animals, or whatever thing that you feel drawn to. And for me, it's animals. I'm very passionate. I don't like cruelty, and I'm very passionate about giving those a voice that don't have a voice. And that's people, animals, anything like that. And that's why, especially the video business we have, I'm very passionate about giving those a voice that don't feel like they can speak up. But the crazy idea, getting back to that, that's when I had this crazy idea that an elephant popped into my mind and was taking a selfie, a self-aware selfie. And up to that point, elephants and I, the only elephants that I remember was in my animal kingdom as a kid, as I played with my farm animals and my African animals. That's really the only connection I had to elephants. I wasn't an elephant collector or anything like that. And I just got out the shower and I went, there's something in this. What if that idea isn't mine? What if the elephant is actually trying to connect to me? What if that elephant sent that message to me? Because I just started to learn a bit about animal communication and how all of our ideas aren't necessarily ours. And when you're open to it, things pop in. And since I had no connection to elephants, I wondered where on earth that came from. So I started to do some research, and I found out very quickly how smart they were and how much they could do. And I started to get really interested in what happens to them and who looks after them, and I was horrified at seeing how they're just, they're depleting at such a fast rate. And I just thought, that's it, I'm heading off to Thailand. I'm going to find that elephant that I thought, and I want to see if I can find it, and perhaps it wants to learn how to take photos and I can teach it, him or her. So that's when I went off to Thailand to try and find this elephant. And, creating a documentary I knew would be an undertaking because I didn't want to wait for funding. I certainly don't want to wait until everything's right. They need help now. I don't want to wait for someone to tell me that I can do this project. I want to get this out to as many people as I can because they need this now. My biggest hurdle in this whole thing has been my own self-doubt. Following the crazy idea was one thing, but then bang, this wall came up and I stopped partly in that journey. But getting back to the crazy ideas, because I know I'm going around in circles a little bit, but I want you to see that this is the reason we're in this video business is because I followed that. I found out that I don't want to be the only one telling these stories. I want to teach you. I want to teach you so you can go out there and get a small crew or grab a camera yourself and make a difference in the world, because we live in such a beautiful place and there are so many amazing, creative, interesting people and things out there, and there are so many hidden dark stories as well that need to see the day, need to see light. And I don't want to tell them all on my own. I want to teach you so you can go and do it. So follow your heart, because you don't know where it's going to lead. We've created a very successful business based on me heading off and having time out and following something that was crazy. You never know where it's going to lead. You never know where it's going to take you. So follow your crazy ideas. And I'd love to hear what yours are. And if you need any help pulling them out, I'd love to help you do that.